Well, hello everybody, it is Al Knight, it is Brony time, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Now, when we last left off, we started the third case in the game. Well, we didn't really... Yeah, we started the case, and, there was a murder. Yeah, and now we're trying to figure out what that murder is. Yeah, so let's go right back into, we have a backstage murder, which is the name of this chapter. And that is indeed what happened last episode. What are you talking about, man? Enough with the riddles. Maybe it is a coincidence, or perhaps it means something. Don't you think, Fraulein? I do. Everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin today is predicted in the lyrics to this song. What? No way! Look, just think about everything that's happened to Mr. Gavin. Let's list them in the order that they occurred. While reading this lyric sheet, first, the keyring was stolen. And not just any keyring, a heart-shaped keyring. That's right here. You stole away the keys my heart held on to so tight. This is a heart holding keys. And next, his guitar burst into flame. Burning on in my heart, fire burned my love away. Sorry, I just got some alright, sorry. Sorry, I just got all of these pop-ups. I'm so sorry. But yes, burning on my heart, fire burned my love away. And then Mr. Latouche was killed. Like a bullet of love, fire take my life away. But that's crazy. Yeah, no kidding. So everything that happened today here? This song predicted it all? Or perhaps it was the other way around. Huh? The criminal could have based their crime on the lyrics. But who would go through all that trouble? Someone who moves in mysterious ways, no doubt. I believe you stumbled upon something quite vital and quite annoying, Fraulein. She looks pleased. Lyrics predicting the crime. Clavier. It's a bit more than seems a bit more than just a coincidence to me. I have to agree. The keyring, the guitar, and the murder. The keyring might have been dropped by accident, yet the victim was holding it. Hard to think that it was unconnected. That's true. Prosecutor Gavin's as calm and collected as ever. So the criminal matched their actions to the lyrics. Sounds likely. Why would anyone do that? While we think about that, I'm going to get cracking on the biggest crime here. I'm going to talk to the Borginian embassy about this Mr. Latouche. Right. Thanks, Daria. I'll leave the plunder and the mysteries to you. I'm out of here. A foreign national, Mr. Toulouse, was killed. It seems like that would have to be the point of all this. But they did more than that. They left us with not only a murder, but a mystery. Mr. Gavin sure is irritable today. Maybe this is the real Prosecutor Gavin we don't get to see in the courtroom. I've had enough, frankly. If you find any more mysteries, do me a favor and keep them to yourselves, yeah? Yeah. I guess this is all we're going to get from Prosecutor Gavin. That leaves Lamoire to question. Prosecutor Gavin, do you know where Lamoire is now? I had to go to my dressing room. With that pianist, Machi, of course. She seems rather shocked by Mr. Latouche's sudden passing. The Gavinier's dressing room. Got it. Well, let's go over there then. Who's there? There it goes again. Who is that guy? Huh, Trucy? You know, he did look sort of familiar. So he's a friend of yours? No, that's not it. Sorry, I don't remember. Curiouser and curiouser. Ah, Lamore! What has happened? I heard that Mr. Latouche has died. Lamore, you speak? You speak English? Ah, yes. I was invited here from the Republic of Virginia. But I am not Virginian by birth. But was it Mr. Latouche, your interpreter? Ah, that, yes. Well, it was Mr. Latouche's idea. He thought it would add to the mystery, you see. Then your pianist is also... No, Machi is Virginian. He does not speak English. Now please tell me, what has happened to Mr. Latouche? Why did he... Actually, Mr. Latouche was Trucy. Huh? Remember what Prosecutor Gavin said? Not a word. But Mr. Latouche is Lamoire's manager. That's not fair to her. Isn't she a related party? Precisely, Prosecutor Gavin doesn't want to alert, I suspect. All I have been told is to wait here in this room. It is very unsettling. I'm sorry, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. Do you think I could ask you some questions? Of course. I'm always willing to help. She's as calm as she looked on stage. Can't put my finger on why, but I like this Lamore. What is it, Machi? What? But you'd be alone. And what seems to be the problem? Oh, sorry, what seems to be the problem? Machi, he is not good around strangers. He wishes to go out for a breath of fresh air. Would that be all right? Sure, of course. Very well. What did you wish to ask me about? I don't know about that, kid. Look, it's a postcard of Lamoire. What are these letters at the bottom? I've never seen these before. Wait, was that... That was Apollo. What are these letters at the bottom? I've never seen these before. It must be your native tongue, Virginian. A landscape painter in sound. This is how it would translate, roughly. Please take one. Landscape painter in sound. That's a nice image. Alrighty. Tell me about this brooch here. That reminds me. Does this brooch look familiar to you? My brooch, yes, well, it may be mine. Yours, Lamar? I was wearing a brooch earlier, you see. I must have lost it. Well, that explains the brooch we found. It was Lamar's. Thank you. I was wondering where I dropped it. So this brooch belongs to her. That begs the question. Is something wrong, Apollo? What was this brooch doing at the crime scene? Was it Machi or was it Lamoire? I guess we're a bit too early into the case to really know a lot. The Republic of Virginia. That's in Northern Europe, right? I've never even heard of it. I started out singing in a restaurant. Then a producer called me. Before I knew it, here I am. You don't say. You know, my daddy plays piano in a restaurant. We just tend to look for talent, Trucy. Lamoire, you're not from Virginia originally. Were you born here? Well... Oh, is that supposed to be a secret? Image is everything when you're a star. I know a bit about that, of course. Ah, yes, it is something like this. A contract, you might say. I am also not to speak anything but Virginian in public. Image is important, I guess. She's not all image, though. Her songs are lovely. A real landscape painter in sound. A painter in what? She travels the world, turning the sights she sees into music. That's the secret to your music's beauty, right? You're very perceptive. Oh, I use your songs all the time in my stage act. I don't have to pay royalties for that, do I? Stop while you're ahead, Trucy. This landscape painter and sound, too, is an image. Yet without it, my songs would not be so widely heard. They even call you the siren of the ballad, right? Yes, in Virginian, Lamoire means the siren. Wait a second, he said ask the siren. So she did witness the murder. I fear that perhaps already I am not the siren I once was. Your pianist, Machi, was it? He's cute, like a porcelain doll. He's very European. I met him while singing in the restaurants in Virginia. He is an orphan, yet his playing is exquisite. Soon he came to live with me. It's like a fairy tale almost. I noticed he hardly leaves your side. Yes, well, he is blind. At first I hesitated at dragging him across the world. He doesn't speak English either, does he? He had never left Virginia before we met. I made his presence part of my contract. Machi and I together are Lamoire. Together, always. Mr. Latouche was my new manager. New? Yes, from 3 months ago. Around when I received Mr. Gavin's invitation to come. I met Mr. Latouche at my office. He was to be my manager and bodyguard. And as it turned out, my interpreter. Interpreter, even though you speak English? Yes, but we were to visit more places than just here. We had a concert in Japan scheduled after this one. Though I fear that may have to be cancelled now. Okay, so this is just like a Japanifornia. It's like America, Japan combined. So Japan exists as its own independent country. Though I fear that may have to be cancelled now. Was Mr. Latouche from the Republic of Virginia too? Well, he was only with me for 3 months. I'm afraid there is much I do not know about him. And that I shall never know. No one will even tell me why he has died. I'm sorry. Prosecutor Gavin said we weren't to talk to anyone. Mr. Latouche was a talented man. The siren of the ballad. That phrase was his idea, you know. I am happy for him that it has become so well known. The siren, the siren. That's what he meant. Huh? Apollo. You are the siren, right, Lamoire? That is the meaning of my name in Virginian, yes. It was the name my producer gave me, but why do you ask? It's very important. I had to know for sure if the siren was you. What do you mean important? I'll tell you. You deserve to know. Siren. It turns out that's a very important word in this case. How? When we found Mr. Latouche, he was still alive. What? I heard him say something. His last words. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me? Ask witness. Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness? The witness is Siren. He said Siren. Really? I was the only one there to hear it. But I'm sure that's what he said. Mr. Latouche said that. Ask the witness. And you're the Siren, Lamoire. Did you see what happened? Lamoire? Might I ask, are you with the police? Well, no, I'm a defense attorney. An attorney? Yet there have been no arrests, yes? Is that a problem? Does an attorney not work for a client? If you have no client, you should leave the investigation to the police, I think. But Lamoire, I'm sorry, but I cannot answer your questions. I'm afraid you lack the authority to ask them. Ah, why? If she witnessed the crime, why won't she tell us? I believe we are through here. I believe so. So either you saw who did it and you're protecting them, or you did it yourself. Like, whoa, who's there now? Ah, it's you. Where were you? Ah, Emma! Is something wrong? She looks grumpier than usual. You bet something's wrong. The impossible has happened. Hawk, it's all your fault, you know. Oops, maybe this is about us leaving the crime scene. What do you mean by impossible? Well, it's gone. Utterly gone. What's gone? The body, stupid. What else? Mr. LeChu's body has disappeared. What? This is wacky. There's some, is there some, assassination thing going on? Ah, Prosecutor Gavin. From the vacant stare, I gather you've heard the news. I heard Mr. LeChu's body has gone missing. Look for yourself. Quite the pickle. Quite the pickle. How can you just stand there? We have to start the There's no need for alarm, Fraulein Detective. All entrances and exits have been sealed. The body will not leave the building. So I suggest we go find ourselves a cadaver. There will be plenty of time to ponder the vise later. Well, you seem pretty sure of yourself, Mr. Gavin. Oh, we'll find him. I'm rather enjoying this. But Mr. LeChu's body just disappeared. Well, you heard the man. Let's get searching. Hey, I don't know if this is exactly the right time, but... Yes, Daria. See, Jeter's gone missing. It was in the dressing room. Jeter? Who's Jeter? That's what I call my guitar. You like, man? Your guitar was stolen. This hasn't been a good day for guitars or geeters. Okay, body first, then guitar. And if someone finds that guitar, please bring it to our dressing room. Geeter's like a missing person, not lost and found, man. Well, this is sure as up. What did he call it? A sausage? No, wait, it was a pickle, and it's your pickle. I told you to stay in the room. Sorry, not much else I can say. It's alright. Top priority now is finding that body. You can make it up to me later. 10 bags or so of chocolate snack goo should do the trick nicely. You should watch your sugar intake, Emma. Does something seem different to you, Apollo? Something is definitely different here. Let's check it out. I'm not sure that's all that important right now. Let's check out that thing in the middle of the stage. What, the piano? This? Okay. Is it? Oh, it's this. I was like, what? That stage there must have been lowered before. That's the tower that Lamar and Prosecutor Gavin were signing on. Someone must have raised it. I don't see the way to control it from here. Apollo, what about the ladder against the wall? We could use that to take a look up top. Maybe we should get Emma. What are you talking about? We have to see this sort of thing for ourselves. I'm not so good with heights. Stop whining and start climbing. It didn't look that high from below, really, but when you get to the top, I felt every one of those 15 feet down. Of course, I wasn't thinking about the height anymore. Not after what we found up there. We found 2 things we were looking for, and 1 thing we never expected to find. No! Never mind! The kid didn't do it, because the kid's dead! The body guitar in hand, and the pianist, Machi Tobai. So there's a killer loose. There was a killer on the loose last night. Wow, that concert last night sure went south in a hurry. No kidding. Why did they arrest Machi? Why? Don't look at me like it's my fault. Oh, it's the boy. Oh, he wasn't dead. He was knocked out. Machi Dubai, the blind pianist. Arrested on suspicion of murdering Romain Latouche. I can't believe such a cute little boy could do something so horrible. Guess they have proof of some kind. What proof could possibly prove that? Morning. Prosecutor Gavin. What's a night, eh? I apologize for being so upset. Mr. Gavin, do you know what's going on? Why did they arrest Machi? Why? Don't look at him like it's his fault either. It was tough for me too. We performed together that night after all, yet? The powers that be say that given the circumstance, it could only have been him. What do you mean by the circumstances? Lamar was invited from Virginia as an ambassador of goodwill. It is vital that this case be wrapped up swiftly. That's all the powers that be want, really. Well, those are circumstances, all right. What makes Machi even the only possible suspect? Forehead. You seem to have forgotten that you are talking to the prosecution. The enemy. Ah, right. I think I like this side of Prosecutor Gavin better, actually. I am not at liberty to discuss the particulars of the case. Especially not to the defense attorney. What? Did you just say me? The defense attorney? That's what I came to tell you. He's down at the detention center. He wants to request your services. He? You mean Machi? Machi wants me? This is what we've been waiting for, Apollo. Let's get going. Right. Good luck. Good luck. I'm off to question Lamois. Right, later. I hope I'm up to this. So we just go right to detention. Well, I just don't get it. I refuse to believe a cute little kid like that could do something so terrible. You said that already. Machi, everything's going to be okay. We're here for you. Hi, maybe you could tell me about last night. Huh? That was when I realized how tough it must be. A little kid like this, in a country so far from everything he's ever known. Maybe Lamar can help, but didn't Prosecutor Gavin say she was with him? Good luck. I'm off to question Lamar. Well, what are we going to do? That's, a good question. Can't think of anything we can do but go with this. And hope for the best at the trial tomorrow. That kid's terrified. Interesting. So he has been accused of the murder. I'm curious. I think it has to be Lamar. Because unless Clavier did it, but I don't know why he would kill Latouche. I feel like there's another person we have yet to meet who is involved in this case. Either that or it's just Lamar. Court is now in session for... How do I say that? Machi Tobai, Your Honor, the pixie of the Apprecio. Right, his trial court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. My opening statement, yeah? No, actually, there was something else I want to ask you about. Yes, say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down. What are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. The Chief Justice? His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day. Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? He's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Excuse me. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement briefly. You're in luck, Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim in this case. Romain Toulouse, age 35. The global manager for Diva Songstress Lemoire. I mean, now that I really think about it, and this just crossed my mind, I don't believe he did it either, because I don't see a kid being able to hand a revolver that powerful or big. The global manager for Diva Songstress Lemoire. The case of death, blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. Court accepts this into evidence. 45 caliber. That's quite large, isn't it? Direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved. Suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering. 2 shots were fired. One shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Most of the bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the bullets hit. I see. Court accepts this evidence. If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use. Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door. That does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible! Exactly, this murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Machi. Only this defendant could have committed the crime, but how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well, I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Please show the witness to the stand. Your name and profession, please. Emma Skye. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder. Now, don't blame yourselves. Things like this happen. I made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know. Sure, that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security details, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony, if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. Alright. Okay, we need to get much information out of her as possible, so, the night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room, filled with blaring rock music, and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. It was lucky that the detective was the first on the scene. That door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. Oh! There's the dude in the hat! Maybe he's the one who did it. Then I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? Sorry, guys. Like, when I'm playing this game, the wheels in my head are turning because this is blind. So expect a lot of times we'll be in the middle of some unrelated conversation. I'll be like, oh yeah, that. Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Okay. The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. I feel like they suspected an assassination might have been possible. I'm thinking that's what's going on here. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say, the stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys. That whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hawk to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Is it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplace them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hands on their own. Watch this. Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. Love's slow acting and new Quinn is waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see, I can accept that. Well, I can't. What do you mean Sorry. Well, I can't. What do you mean time on their hands? Please, the testimony. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there then. And then... I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackaroos. Oh, hey! No snacking in court! And you're sure the shots came from Lamoire's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this will keep you quiet. Ah, thanks. So, how about him? We were right there. Hard to be mistaken about that much. Please either talk or eat, not the both at the same time. Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. They're really becoming fast friends. They're really becoming fast friends. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't sense the gay vibes off of Apollo. I just don't. Not yet though. Maybe that'll change in the future. But right now, like, I ship him and Emma, especially after that little interaction. Rock? Blaring, yes. When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days? That's right, we went in the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage through the speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the Gaviners with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always have the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked into the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime. If you could hear that music playing, then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent. Ah! But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. A child. Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And all of the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child. The defendant, the pixie of the Apprecio, flitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture. Oh, there's no other way out of that room. You were there. You should know, Air Forehead. And there's another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What? Marks were found on the air vent grill, traces that it had recently been opened. Wait, what? And something else was found quite clearly. The defendant, Machi's fingerprints. What? What? Order, order, order! That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Air Foreheads, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence. Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict. Even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit, I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witness. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. It can't be over already. Very well, I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence, the prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it'd be better be clear and plain. Like Apollo, they got us on the ropes already. We'd better come up with something quick. I know. Think. What can get us out of this? We need evidence or witness that can prove Machi's innocent beyond a doubt. Without that, Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you better tell us about it now. This is it. And so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof? Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I'd swear on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Otro Quinine, My Love. There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness. Ho-ho, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not? Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive. Mr. Chus, can you hear me? Cold, so cold. Witness. You're cold. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. Help is on the way. Can't see. Hang in there, Mr. Lachus. Tell me, who was this witness? The witness is Siren. What? The victim said that before he died. Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is that what Air Forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. But it's the truth. He said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly, this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job. That's enough, Mr. Justice. We need clear, contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usually is called for. Oh, there's no backing out now. Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice. Lamoire? Recall Mr. Toulouse's last words. The witness's siren. The siren? Aha! He met the siren. That's right, the siren of the ballad, Lamoire. Lamoire was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness. I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, my claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime. Very well, let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We'll now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Lamoire to the witness stand. Lamoire would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. He really doesn't want her to testify. It's my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom. You are too kind. You can speak English? Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I do not know. You speak so well. Have you spent time here before? Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. What does she mean? She doesn't know. I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Lamoire suffers from amnesia. Amnesia? Lamoire is not my true name. But I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time I started singing on stage. Oh, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer Lamoire, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I see. I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamoire. Unless it's relevant. Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Lamoire, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my. Congratulations, Paulo. You're the bad guy. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. As for what I saw nothing. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. I must say you sound wonderful just testifying. I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now, we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her any longer than need be. Wow, you just got better, Pollard. Way to go! Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet. Our woman talked to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. Wait a minute, there is one piece of evidence. There is one piece of evidence that if you never came backstage, how did this brooch get back there? Objection! I'm sorry, Lamar, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, did you not? Why, that's Lamar. She was wearing it for a song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? But what? This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime. What? Lamoire, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. What is the meaning of this? Lamoire, please explain. Lamoire? She says English is quite difficult. That trick's not going to work here. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. But what? Think back to the moment of the crime. Know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Ah! Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Artus, can you hear me? How can a signed witness say anything? Emma? What was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No. I could have sworn I heard her door close. I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you. So this was when your brooch dropped. That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. That's ridiculous. You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch. Her forehead. She has raised the possibilities. The only things that can count as that is evidence. So she looked in the scene at the crime scene. Actually, I intend to go into that dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course, but the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. Her forehead shouting, "Who's there?" Who's there, no doubt. A horrible voice indeed. I closed the door immediately. Well, that explains the brooch. Sorry, I don't know why I have trouble saying that. Let's return to your testimony. That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lamoire, you did look into the room, though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well. Though it was only the briefest of glimpses. Let's see if we can find anything. You may have seen the world, but I've seen your heart. You were flustered during your testimony just now. I do not understand what it is you are saying. Perhaps this is a joke in your culture? You just seem very flustered to me, Apollo. Maybe I got that one wrong. I have to look harder. Find that weak spot. Dang it. There, finally we got it. I was just a second too late. The late Mr. Toulouse's body, you say? Yes, you know something more about Mr. Latouse's death than you are saying. What? I could see you trying not to remember. But the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes.
It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot?
One moment, Lemoire. Yes? What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot?
Yes.
She was hiding something. I knew it. Lemoire, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony.
How could that be?
Take this. Lemoire contradicted her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it.
Take that!
Tell me, Lemoire, how did you know he had been shot?
Well,
Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known? Lemoire, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope. That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet.
Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony.
Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. The bullet holes, you couldn't have seen it. If you opened the door, you wouldn't have been able to see it. It was behind the door. You had to have been fully in the room with the door shut. Or at least, we had to be fully in the room.
Objection!
Lemoire, they call you the Scion of the Ballot, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. A put-down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice. Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah? Come on, can I be cool for once? Observe the diagram. Lemoire, you looked in from the door just for a moment, correct?
Yes, that is so.
There were bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall. In the wall the door is on. You see, assuming you merely glanced into that room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Lemoire.
Yes?
Yes, I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
And I must tell you? I must tell you what it is that I saw.
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Virginia. You understand, your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing.
But she knew how Mr. Latouche died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lemoire. Very well, Lemoire. Please continue your testimony.
Very well, I shall.
And we will get into this new testimony next time on the Great Ace... God dang it. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Gosh darn it. I just cannot get that out of my head now, can I? But still, we are at the end of the road when it comes to today's episode. So interesting. We have Lemoire on the stand. Bashar is considered the only one who could have done it. They found his fingerprints at the scene. Lemoire witnessed his murder. Like, we know this. He said it himself before he died, that she was a witness. And for some reason, she's hiding it. I don't know why. So, either she's doing it to protect herself or protect someone else. Like, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. I still think it may have been the guy with the yellow cap who was actually the one who killed him. And he was some sort of assassin. I believe this was some sort of assassination attempt. But anyway, we'll have to find that out next time. thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to Time for more content, especially more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. And I will see you guys next time.